Hello and welcome to blackfilm.com. I am your host, Ro Carter. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Nzinga Imani on her new show, Friend Zone. I'm sorry, her new movie, Friend Zone.
Yeah.
It's currently streaming on ALLBLK right now. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm amazing. Thank you for asking.
So I've just learned about you now. I watched your film today. Literally, like I just finished it 10 minutes ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it from a positive interview because right now, as a friend of ladies, I'm kind of hurt. The
Why?
friend zone is that man. People were going. There's a lot of red flags in this movie, but I like it. It was very entertaining. The one thing they're going to talk about is, man, there was a lot of red flags in this film. There's things everywhere, but it's a beautiful film. Why don't you tell us what it's about?
Okay. Well, Friend Zone is about two childhood friends who cross the line and are navigating whether or not to pursue that relationship or save their friendship. And there are a lot of red flags because there's another relationship brewing. There's some lies being told. There's some secrets being outed. There's a little bit of deception. So I definitely think that there are red flags, but who doesn't want a movie with a little bit of red flags? You know what I
Okay, okay.
mean?
This is going to be talked about a lot. I was like, what? And then no, and then really, it was just all over. I
You
love
don't
that.
have friends like that? No,
I
bro.
don't. I don't. That's why I was like, I don't know. So,
Okay.
what's an ideal guy friend, and what's your belief on relationships? And can you still have guy friends or girlfriends? Can your significant other have that?
Absolutely. I welcome it. I think that any well-rounded relationship, you need to have people that are the opposite sex that you can confide in, that you can talk to about things. Um, if you can only be friends with the same sex, then that's a red flag to me because that means you don't understand boundaries.
Okay.
At some point in life, there's going to be the opposite sex that comes around and that you either you work with or something like that. And if you can't set your own boundaries, then that's the problem more so than anything else. Now, I will say the relationship between Queenie and Marcel is different because they are way more than friendly, and there are quite a few I won't say red flags, but there are quite a few times in the film where you're like they're obviously like each other, but I think Queenie is coming from a place of being scared to ruin what they've built. Their families and lives are so intertwined that it's just a safer space to be in, to be friends and to not risk anything. But yeah, I definitely welcome the opposite sex. I mean, I'll be calling my boyfriend's female friends up like, hey, we're having a game night, let's all, because that's to me a well-rounded community. I don't want you to only have male friends so that the only people you can talk to when we get into something are guys who are just like, yeah, she tripping. Like,
Yeah,
no, nah.
and
I
not
need you
breaking
to
it down so
call.
you have a better
I,
understanding. Yeah.
I need you to call up your homegirl and so she could be like, now you know that this and this, and I get the same thing. My trainer, I love talking to him about anything. If I feel like I stepped out of line or said something, he gonna tell me, now you know you could have done that better, and I love that. Get me together.
Now let's talk about the film in terms of who Queen is and what she represents. I
Mhm.
loved you on the screen. Not only your outfits, I don't know if that was any of your stuff, but you had
Absolutely.
okay. You always had your colors and everything just matching. I'm sure ladies like, okay, I need to get that piece. I need to get that piece right there.
Absolutely.
But besides that, also you working, but also following your dream. Talk about that.
I mean, it was incredible to do this film because it's with people who I actually know and love, and we've kind of grown and built our careers together. Courtney Arlette, the writer director of this film, is one of the first people who ever put me in a lead role in her web series, Pretty for a Big Girl. And this is kind of like the evolution of that series. This is the main character getting her own like movie spinoff, and there's already another series in the works for other characters and part of Pretty for a Big Girl. So being able to just grind together and grow and elevate together while also being able to show my makeup in the film, show the looks that I have on. Not only did I have on looks from my closet, but also the character Gladys, a lot of the clothes she had on was from my boutique shop Namani as well. It was really cool to be able to bring those characters to life, not just through acting but through the entire look. I love to build my characters from the inside out, and I do think that your wardrobe has a lot to do with how you present and how you're perceived on screen. So I love to have my hands all on deck when it comes to that.
Nice. And so you're speaking for Black women, but also speaking for big girls out there as well. You've gone on this weight loss journey.
Mhm.
So how does that, is that challenging on where you're at now? Are people hating? Are people supportive? Like, it's a little bit of both. Or where are you at mentally in terms of like, hey, I'm just worried about me and I'm just gonna do my thing.
I
Tell
think that's where I've always been. I very quickly got put as like the spokeswoman for plus size girls, and I love it because at the end of the day, I've always been like, embrace where you are, enjoy who you are. It was never about staying big or getting smaller. It was always about embracing where you are now. I was fine then. I'm fine when we shot Friend Zone, and I'm fine still. I definitely have received a lot of positive feedback as well as a lot of negative feedback. I've had people accusing me of doing this and doing that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm worried about my health, my life, and the things that I want to do. And it was never about trying to reach a number on a scale. It was about being the my best physically. It was about being able to have the stamina that I need to keep up with my life, my career, and ultimately my family. It was about strengthening myself. Like, those were the things that I'm focused on. I'm not worried about a number. You know, my weight has always fluctuated. I was different when we shot this 3 years ago than I was last year when we shot Zatima, and it's always gone up and down. So now I'm in the spotlight a little more, so people pay a lot more attention to everything. But at the end of the day, I know that that's a part of the game, and I'm gonna keep being me. I'm gonna keep representing for the big girls and for all girls and Black girls. That's my focus. It's never been about a number on a scale.
So another thing is the relationships here, which I love on screen, is that, you know, when it came time to you guys getting married, there was family there, right? Black
Mhm.
men talking about, hey man, I gotta shell all this out, but they were supportive in there. How big
Mhm.
was that being a part of this movie?
It was beautiful. I wasn't raised with a father in the home, so the men who stepped up and showed up for me in different ways in my life, it made a huge difference. And to be able to show two families come together that way and have both their mother and father who are together and in love, and for it to be represented that way in the film, I thought was really important because I've seen it, and I haven't seen it in my personal life, but I've seen how that affects people and how it affects relationships. I had a lot to figure out on my own, that if I did have that male figure, that female figure, and got to see from a firsthand perspective what a loving relationship was like, it might have been a little different. I might have figured things out a little quicker, but it's all part of the journey. And I'm glad that we are able to represent that in the projects we put out.
Talk about your co-stars on in the movie.
Oh, yes. Okay. So um my of course the guy who plays Marcel, the leading man, his name is Angelo Diaz. I've known him for several years. This was the first time we got to work in this capacity, but it was instant, it was easy, the chemistry was great. He's
You
so
can tell you guys,
respectful.
like, I really felt you guys are long friends, long best friends. So
Yes, yes. The chemistry was easy, and it was really fun. The guy who plays Corey, his real name is Maurice K. Perry, Maurice P. Carey. I always do that wrong. And we met for the first time on this film, but he's a little jokester. He's so much fun. He would always come all greased up. He's a ladies' man, so his role in the film was very true to life. And then the character Gladys, who plays my assistant, she is one of my favorite people in the world. It was really incredible to be able to give her this opportunity, her first film debut, and she killed it. But she is someone who was a role model to me for years in the theater community. The first time I saw her, she played an evil stepmother in the reimagined Cinderella. It's called Cindy the Musical, and it's like an urban spin on Cinderella. She played my evil stepmother, and the way that she commanded the stage, the way that she was sexy and such a diva, it was such a, like, this was 10, 15 plus years ago. So seeing her command the stage like that, that was a huge part of my development, a huge part of how I've shown up on screen, and just an example for me. So to be able to do this project with her after all these years, it was really beautiful, to share the screen with her. And then Brayley Evans, who has been a representation on TV for so many years. Her career has spanned for so many years, and she's always been that representation of plus size Black woman, but also it's giving cute, it's giving flirty. It's not just the goofy best friend. It's giving the things that I feel like I get. You know what I mean? So those are the main co-stars that I can think of. But it was really great working with
yeah, your
everybody.
sister reminds me of what's her name from 227.
Oh, and
Yeah, I can't. Oh, I'm gonna I
I want
apologize.
to say Regina, but that's her name is Kimberly.
Yeah. What's who was
Oh, I
the
don't know.
flirtatious one and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
she reminds me of her. Yeah. I can't for the love of my life right now. But anyway,
Mhm.
so that was beautifully done. Your cast was great.
Thank
I
you.
felt bad for Corey. I won't give it away. Spoiler alerts. But
Yes.
what do guys do when you try to do the right thing and then the best friend's in the picture and
Yeah.
you're kind of weary about the best friend? What advice would you give to anybody kind of maybe going through that or to avoid it?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation, and I will say it could have been handled better. Now, one thing I will have to clarify is it looked way worse than it actually was when he walked in. Now, I'm in the lingerie, he's coming out the bathroom. There was a scene that you guys didn't get to see that was a lot more platonic than
Okay.
what he walked in on. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure that they decided to cut it, but it wasn't what it looked like. So he really was walking into a situation that looked a lot worse than what it was. Like we were playing and painting and things like that, and then he was coming out the bathroom because he had paint on his shirt and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we were already too flirtatious, and he saw the signs at game night that Marcel had a lot of, I don't even know the word to say, but that he definitely wanted to he wanted to show that that it was territory.
Yeah.
They was fighting over territory in that moment. So I don't really know what the advice would be, but to be wary and be careful, because the red flags were certainly there for him. I mean, even the call during the
Yeah, I was going
date.
to talk about that scene because I was like, so you get a call and you're from an art guy who wants to put you in a gallery or make you have your own exhibit, and the first person you call when this man is sitting right next to you is your boy, and you're like, hey man,
Yeah,
I got the thing, and you're like, I gotta go, and I was like, oh, you see,
yeah.
this is why we can't do anything nice for anybody.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to consider the fact that this is something that is huge for me, and
Yeah,
I've been talking to this guy, yeah, for a month or so, but my best friend has been there from the beginning. When I was sleeping on his couch when I was going to art shows and in art school
yeah,
and struggling. So I'm not considering his feelings in the moment. I'm considering this huge thing happened and I have to share it with the person who means the most in the world to me, who happens to be my best friend. So if I did that and it was a female, I don't know if he would have felt the same way.
yeah,
But because it is a man, I can definitely understand the like, girl, you not even gonna tell me? I'm here with you.
yeah.
I'm like, he can hear what I'm saying to him, right? So do
Yeah,
I have to
there you go.
reiterate?
Good. Okay,
Do I
okay,
have to tell you too?
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a sad situation, but I am grateful that he handled it the way he did because that could have definitely went differently.
Yeah, I'm glad the movie didn't go too out of hand and like he didn't
Yeah,
get on some gangster level. It was
yeah,
very like, all right, man, I respect your space, and kind
yeah,
of go from there. So that was decent too to see black folks like just be very copacetic and just like, okay, she's
yeah.
not the one for me. Let me move on and kind of go about my business.
And she doesn't belong to anyone.
Yeah,
So what do you do? I mean, yes, Corey and I had clearly started dating more seriously, but at the end of the day, I'm not. I don't belong to him. And we had only been dating for so long, so even in terms of relationship, it was very new. So I
ladies,
think
if you want tips on how to get a man without sleeping with him at all and get a ring on your finger, this movie will show you how to do that. You managed
that
to not get. I mean, you were just getting. I was like, she didn't even. No one's getting cuddles, nothing. That's it.
no,
And you were like,
no.
I got a ring. People love you. That's it.
That is the secret though.
That's
That is the secret. Yeah, keep them out your pants and they'll stick around a little longer. I'm just saying.
okay. All right. All right. There you go. There you go. Beautiful. So the last thing I want to add here, I do a show called Rewind with Ro, and I always ask my guests if you could rewind any moment, either in your career or on set, what would you rewind?
Oh. Hmm. Rewind in terms of like a redo or
Rewind could be whatever you want it to be. It could be you're doing it over or change it. It's up to you.
huh.
You might want to relive that moment again. You might want to change some of that moment, but that's on you and what your interpretation of what rewind means.
I always say everything happens the way it's supposed to. However,
Okay, all right.
I will say that I work with Tyler Perry on Zatima, and I will say that there are a few times where I do wish that I could go back and just maybe not fall, maybe not trip. Um, I'm very clumsy, and
Okay.
I feel like that made quite an impression. So I mean, nothing huge that I would say I want to change because I am very happy with my life, my career, and the trajectory of it. I feel like the film came out really great, and I had so much fun doing it. So I wouldn't say that there's anything that I would want to rewind to change, other than just the goofy things that I do when I'm in person with someone. I remember the first time Tyler and I met, and he was just like, "You're just so beautiful," and I was like, I just became a child all of a sudden, and I will never be able to explain that. And I'm sure he probably doesn't even remember it, but I think about it daily.
He has that power. I interviewed him, and it was in a hotel room in Chicago, and
Uh-huh.
the phone rang in the room, and he just abused me the whole time. He's like, "Your room's a mess, isn't it? Now they're calling to clean it right now." And I was like, "Tyler, stop!" And I was like a hot mess. So
And I know he's
he's got,
joking, but it's also like he's Tyler Perry,
yeah,
so
exactly.
everything hits different.
You're seeing zeros and one like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 in front of you, like, oh wow, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
sir, yes. Well, thank you for your time today. Again, Nzinga Imani, her movie is now currently streaming on All Black. Again, it's called Friend Zone. Check her out. She's huge.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much for your
me.
time. Have a
My
great day.
pleasure.